Have you ever wondered how the US dollar ended up, well, pretty much everywhere? It's a huge economic mystery, right? How did the money from just one country find its way into wallets and cash registers all across the globe? Well, we're going to dig into that.
So, to kick things off, I've got a little puzzle for you. What could a nation in South America, a tiny island country out in the Pacific, and a republic in Central America possibly have in common? I mean, they are worlds apart. The answer? Yeah, it's probably not what you're thinking.
All right, so first up, we've got Ecuador, home of the incredible Galapagos Islands. Then, you jump halfway across the planet to the Republic of Palau, this absolutely beautiful island nation. And to round it out, you've got El Salvador, smack dab in the middle of Central America. So, you've got these three totally different spots on the map. What is the one thing that connects them all? Get this, they all use the US dollar as their official honest-to-goodness currency. Yep, they didn't just decide to accept it, they completely replaced their own money with it. And we're not talking about just for tourists and souvenir shops. We're talking about everything, from buying your groceries to paying your taxes. The American dollar is literally the law of the land there. So there's actually a name for this whole process. It's called dollarization, and it's created this kind of exclusive club of nations. Let's dive in and meet the official members of this dollar club. And believe it or not, it's not just those three we mentioned. In total, there are 16. Yeah, 16 separate countries and territories that use the good old greenback as their official currency. Okay, so first, let's cover the ones that probably won't surprise you. It makes total sense that the 5 U.S. territories, places like Puerto Rico and Guam, use the dollar. They're part of the U.S., so of course they do. But this is where it gets really interesting. This is the list of foreign nations. You can see our original puzzle pieces on there, right? Ecuador, for example, made the switch to crush some really nasty hyperinflation and stabilize their whole economy after a crisis. And you've even got British territories like Turks and Caicos who jumped on board because their economy is so tightly linked with the US. But here's the thing. That official list, that's only half the story. The dollar's real power stretches way, way further into what you could call the unofficial greenback zone. These are places where the dollar is king, not because of some law, but just because, well, it is.
Now, it's really important to get this distinction. Unofficial doesn't mean the same thing everywhere. There's a huge difference between a place where you can use dollars and a place where pretty much everyone does use dollars for just about everything, even if there's technically another official currency. So on one hand, you've got countries where the dollar is just widely accepted, especially in touristy areas. You've probably seen this yourself, right? Think about popular vacation spots in the Caribbean or Central America. Heck, even in parts of Canada and Mexico. You can often pay with US dollars, no problem, but the local currency is still the main event. But then you've got this other group. In these places, the dollar isn't just an option, it's the dominant, de facto currency. A lot of the time, it's because their own local currency is really unstable, or inflation is through the roof. So people in countries from Cambodia to Somalia just turn to the dollar. It's seen as a safe bet for doing business every single day, and this happens without any official say-so from the government. So all of this leads to the big question, right? How did this happen? How on earth did the currency from just one country get so deeply woven into the entire global financial system? Well, to figure that out, we've got to jump in our time machine. The dollar's rise to the top really comes down to a few critical moments in history. The big one, the real game changer, happened in 1944. It was called the Bretton Woods Agreement. Basically, the major allied nations all got together and agreed to link their own currencies to the US dollar, which itself was backed by gold. That one decision, right there, made the dollar the world's main reserve currency. And you know what's crazy? Even after that whole system officially ended in 1973, everyone just kept doing it. The habit was formed and the dollar's top spot was pretty much locked in. So, I keep using that term reserve currency. What does it actually mean? It's pretty simple, really. It's just the foreign currency that central banks all over the world like to keep on hand in their, national savings account. They hold on to it because it's seen as super safe and stable. So yeah, even when the Bretton Woods deal fell apart, the world just kind of shrugged and kept using the dollar. The why is actually pretty straightforward. The US economy was huge and seen as a rock-solid bet. Plus, the dollar was already the most traded currency out there. It's almost like financial gravity just took over. Okay, so that's the history lesson. But let's bring it back to right now. Why does any of this matter today?
I mean, beyond bankers and economists, why should you care about the dollar being the top dog? Well, first, let's just wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this. We're talking about more than $2.3 trillion in physical US cash floating around the world. To put that in perspective, that is enough money to give every single person on this planet about $300. And here's the part that really gets me. An estimated half, 50%, of all that physical cash isn't even in the United States. It's out there, right now, being used in a market in Ecuador, being stashed under a mattress in Cambodia, or getting swapped in a bank in Panama. It's truly a global currency. So, what's the takeaway for you, especially if you're planning a trip? 2 super practical tips. First, and I can't stress this enough, always give your bank a heads up about your travel plans so they don't freeze your accounts. And second, make sure you ask about foreign transaction fees. Just because a place accepts dollars doesn't mean your bank won't hit you with some surprise charges for using your card abroad. You know, for over 80 years now, the US dollar has been the bedrock of the global economy. It's been the world's money. But things are changing, right? We're in this new era of digital currencies, crypto, and big shifts in who has economic power. All of that leaves us with one really big, fascinating question to chew on. What's next for the dollar?